welcome back to my channel. Amy here. Long time no see. We're back to our regular filming in the library. I'm excited. I'm excited for a new year, although it's not a new year just yet. I'm currently filming this on the 29th of December. But yes, I'm ready for the new year, 2023, hoping for good things, more videos, more good books, more reading. I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay, so we're gonna take it back a little bit. In the month of November, I read through my book of the month picks because it was getting to be a lot, and it was time to start reading those books. So I made 2 vlogs. I'll have those listed down below if y'all want to check those out. Part 1 and part 2 of reading through my book of the month books. So we're gonna wrap it up today. It was a total of 10 books. I didn't read all 10. There was a few DNFs in there that I'm really upset about, but you know, it happens, and it's okay. If a book doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's not for you, and that's okay. Okay, we're gonna start off. I don't know if this is the first book that I pulled from my stack, but we're gonna start off with The Push. This is by Ashley Audrain. I hope I'm saying that correctly. We started off strong, y'all. This was a 5-star for me. I absolutely loved it. I was totally wowed by this book. It's not exactly a thriller. It's more of a family drama, but I did find it was suspenseful a little bit in a way. So in this book, we follow Blythe. She has a little bit of a history of mothers in her family failing at motherhood. So she's convinced that she's not going to be a good mother. Her first child is born, and there doesn't seem to be that connection between mother and daughter. So following her through that relationship through this book was really intense. It was dark in some spots, but it was just very gripping, and I could not stop listening to this book. I did listen to this via audio. The audio is fantastic. Fantastic. Highly recommend the audio. So it's basically about the relationship between the mother and daughter and their connection, whether they have a connection or not. Does that connection get better? Oh, so much happened in this book. The ending kind of leaves us hanging just a little bit, but I felt like it was perfect. I just felt like, not necessarily hanging, that's not really the right word. It was just perfect. It was just perfect. I absolutely loved it. If you read it, you know. But if you haven't, I think you should. Next up, we have The Golden Couple. This is by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. Another good read. I rated this 4 stars on Goodreads, but it was more of a 3.5, I think, for me. Even though I did enjoy it, there were points in there where I lost kind of interest a little bit, but very minor points, very minor points. It was entertaining. I did have a good time with it, and I honestly did not see where we were going with this story. So we have Marissa and Matthew Bishop, who on the outside seem like the perfect couple. Obviously, not everybody's perfect. They seek out therapy. Here comes Avery Chambers, who is a therapist. She has lost her license, but she continues her method of therapy. I believe she lost her license due to the method that she uses. But like I said, she continues to work with her couples, and her methods seem to work. So Mr. and Mrs. Bishop seek Avery out to help them with their relationship. But little does Avery know that there is a lot more involved in this relationship that she was not expecting as a therapist. Lots of twists and turns in here. It was a good story. I did listen to this on audio, and I do highly recommend the audio if you're gonna go that route. Like I said, 3.5, 4 star. I was entertained. Next up, Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. Another good one. This was another 4-star for me. Not my favorite Alice Feeney, but I still really enjoyed it. This one really reminded me of just a good old-fashioned game of Clue. So we have a family that is getting together for their Nana's 80th birthday, and her house or mansion or wherever she lives is on like this secluded type of island where when the tide comes in, you are stuck on this island. So like I said, we have the family all together in this house celebrating their Nana's 80th birthday, and things just start to happen. People start to be killed off. But what was so fun about this book was Nana was a children's book author. So we also get that in the book. We get these little creepy, dark sort of nursery rhymes within the book. I will say this was the slowest burn mystery thriller that I have read in a really long time. But it kept me guessing. I really had no idea where it was going as we follow Daisy throughout the house, throughout the story, throughout what's happening in the house, what's happening with the family members. The twists and turns at the end were really interesting. I really did thoroughly enjoy this story. I did listen to this one as well. Audio is fantastic. Then we have Sign Here. This is by Claudia Lux. I had such a good time with this book. This was so much fun. This was like I keep wanting to say like a cozy horror. That's the vibe. It was fun. It was fun in a dark kind of way. We mostly follow Peyote. Peyote is a soul who works in hell. He has climbed the corporate ladder in hell by getting people to sign their souls to the devil. We also have the Harrison family in this story. We follow the father, we follow the daughter, and we follow the mother as well. This family is a piece of work. As you read throughout the story, what is going on in their minds, really just fantastically fun. So mainly Peyote is sort of linked to this family in a way. And that's really all I can say about the story, but that's why we're following Peyote along with members of the Harrison family. There's another member of the Harrison family. There's a son, but we don't follow him. But anyway, yes, it all kind of twines together, but it was just really fun and entertaining. I listened to this on audio, and it was also a fantastic read or a fantastic listen. Okay, so next up I tackled Lisa Jewell's The Family Upstairs and then The Family Remains. It's been a while since I've read this book, so I wanted to reread it, or re-listen I should say, and then dive into The Family Remains. So back to this book, which you really do have to read this before you get to The Family Remains. I still feel the same about it. It's still like a 3.5 star for me. It wasn't as entertaining. Now, this was entertaining. I had a blast with this book. I think I gave it 5 stars. I did. I gave it 5 stars. But I still feel the same about this book, like a 3.5, maybe 4 star rating. So we are back. In this book, we are back with this sort of messed up family drama from this book. But in here, we just get more, and it was just so much more involved in the story of like where this all came from. So we follow like stories of back characters from The Family Upstairs. In this book, we followed Libby a lot, as well as I believe Henry, who was the son of the first couple, the main couple, I guess, of the family upstairs. Not the family upstairs, but the family who actually owned the house where the family upstairs takes place. It's hard to describe everything that's going on in this crazy messed up story. my bad. We don't follow Henry in this book. No, we follow Lucy and Libby. We do follow Lucy, a little bit of Libby in here, but a lot of Henry. There's other characters that we following. Okay, so anyway, in this book, like I said, there's a little bit more to the story, and I feel like I said it good in my Goodreads review, if you want to go take a look at that. So we hear more about Michael, who was Lucy's ex. So Lucy we hear mostly from in the first book. We hear more about where he came from and why Lucy was where she was at in the family upstairs versus where she's at in this book. We also hear from Justin, who was Birdie's partner. So when the couple upstairs from this book originated, Justin and Birdie were partners. But Justin had moved on. He's very minor. He's very minor in this book. Minor in this book as well, but his story comes forward due to the detective that we're following in this story, who is just trying to get down to the bottom of what actually happened to what happened in the family upstairs. It's very all over the place. So much going on, so many characters, everything's sort of wrapped up in this book, but there's so much going on, so many stories that you can't put it down. You want to know what's going to be next, whose story is going to be next, what's going on with this story, how's this story going to end, I loved it. 5 stars. The audio was fantastic as well. We do have a cast of characters for this book. Loved it. Okay, so sadly, that is all the books that I completely read for my reading through my Book of the Month books in November. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books total I read. Well, 6 if you want to include the family upstairs. And then we have 4 here that I DNF'd, sadly. So we have the X-Hex. This is just a sort of witchy rom-com, I guess. I started the audio. I did not like the audio at all. And honestly, I wasn't in the mood. I wasn't in the mood for a romance rom-com. So I just put it down. I think I may tackle it again in the future, maybe. I'm gonna hold on to it and just see, because I hear that it's really cute, and I might try to just read it with my own eyeballs and just see how I feel about it from there. Then we have The Lies I Tell by Julie Clark. I just was not interested in this story at all. I did try listening to it as well as physically reading, and I couldn't get into it either way. I don't even know how far I got, but I think I almost made it 50% of the way, but I just didn't understand, like I thought this was going to be like more to what it really was, because it's, according to, the synopsis, she's a con artist, but like nothing, we weren't getting, like, there was no action. It was just like her story of like maybe how she became a con artist. I don't even know. But I wasn't into it. So this is definitely a hard DNF. I don't think I'll be returning to this book at all. And then sadly, oh my gosh, and I really hate this because I got the beautiful copies, beautiful Book of the Month copies for Karen Slaughter's Pieces of Her and Girl Forgotten. I had been sort of dodging this book, I guess, because I heard that it was just very hard to read. Like there's just some like graphic experiences that happen in this book. I didn't make it very far, but I was completely bored completely bored the entire time. In the very beginning, there's an incident that happens. I wouldn't say that it's, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't say that it's gruesome or hard to read, but I mean, it was a little bit on the disturbing side, but there was a little bit of a badass aspect to it that I was looking forward to maybe getting more of that in here. But the further I got, I was completely bored, just completely bored with it. So I didn't even try to do this book, although I do think this could be read on its own, because it just involves, it involves the same character from Pieces of Her, but it's a different storyline. So I do think this could be read on its own, which I thought about trying to do and just see what happens. We're following in both books, I believe. We're following, oh, what's her name? Andrea. And she's basically telling us the story of her mother in this book. But then in this book, she is a U.S. Marshal. So somewhere along the line, she became a U.S. Marshal in here to this book. But I don't feel like that's too much of a spoiler. Like I said, the stories are completely different. Like Andrea is a completely different person in this book, I feel. And like I said, different story. And the story sounds interesting. Well, so did this one, really. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't, like, I was bored. But I might see later on at another time and place, I don't know, if I can do this on its own without reading Pieces of Her. So we'll see. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read this little series here, and what your thoughts on it. Or can this be read as a standalone? Did you like this one better than this one? Or this one better than this one? Let me know all the deets in the comments. No spoilers, but yeah. Alright, that's it for my reading through my Book of the Month books. I currently have 2 Book of the Months on my shelf. One of them I did DNF, but I might try it again later. I won't get it, because I think I talked about it in my Book of the Month reading vlog, I think. But this is The Last Party by Claire McIntosh. I started it on audio, and I could not take the voice on the audio. It was too Irish, and I had a hard time following the story. I mean, I'm not knocking it by any means, but I just couldn't understand what our narrator was telling us. It was hard for me to understand and grip onto the story. So it's not quite a hard DNF for me yet. I put it back on my shelf because I would like to maybe see if I can get into it if I read it with my own eyeballs. So that's the story on that one. But yeah, that is it, y'all. So thank y'all so much for staying with me through Vlogmas. If you didn't see those Book of the Month vlogs, I will have them linked down below if you want to go check them out. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it is that you celebrate at this time of the year, I hope it was a happy one for you. I probably won't see you until the new year, so Happy New Year from me. And of course, hugs from me all around, y'all. And I'll see y'all very soon in another video. Bye, y'all.